Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Grand Traverse, where all are truly welcome, all of every background, identity, and age. We especially extend our loving welcome to families with young children. Here at UUCGT, we are building a culture of inclusion and welcome as a community. Our Director of Lifelong Learning ensures that the children have a meaningful part in our service. Though it may add a few minutes to the length of our time together, the message we send to our children is that they are included, they are welcome, and they matter. I am Susan Smith, coordinator of this service and a member of the Sunday Service Committee. At the top of our order of service, please note informational items, including our land acknowledgement and our request to silence electronic devices. Also noted is our book for recording your joys and or concerns at the front of the sanctuary on your left. Please feel free to enter and your contributions in that book at any time. Later in our service, Connie Metcalf from the Congregational Care Team will read what has been shared today. That sharing enables us to support one another through our individual challenges and losses and to share in each other's celebration, growing ever closer as a result. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or joining us online, whether it's your first time or your 100th, we're so glad that you're with us today. If you're visiting today, we'd love to get to know you. If you're comfortable, we invite you to stand and introduce yourself. A microphone will be brought to you so that everyone here and online can hear. If you'd prefer not to speak, that's okay too. Just enjoy being together this morning. Are there any visitors? Yes.
Hi, I'm Jan Lucas, and I live in Columbus, Indiana, where I attend the UU Church there. And I'm visiting my friend Liz, who is living up in the north now, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Liz Nolan Graven, and my husband and I are building a house in Onekama, if you're familiar. And we will be coming here semi-regularly when we get our house built, which is hopefully soon. So since Jan was here, we wanted to come check you guys out.
Great, thank you for being here, and welcome. We invite you after our service to join us for our social hour and take one of our yellow mugs so that we can find you in the crowd to introduce ourselves and get acquainted. I want to highlight 3 important facts leading up to today's service. First of all, yesterday was a day where people across this country set aside time to make their voices heard, their bodies seen, their signs read, and their demands for no kings here known. Here in Traverse City, our UUCGT Social Justice Action Team, there's Mary Van Valen and Mike, who both actively organize us. As a result, I'm sure that our organization and collective power to those acts by many of us here was enhanced. Estimates are that there were 8,000 or more in the Civic Center Park. We marched, we sang, we talked, and we listened. Secondly, I want to highlight that October is designated as LGBTQ+ History Month. Historical events that led to that designation included the appointment of October 11th as National Coming Out Day, and the fact that the first march on Washington for lesbian and gay rights occurred in October 1979. Thirdly, I want to note that last Monday was Indigenous Peoples Day, observed on the same day as Columbus Day, to recognize that 50 to 70 million people who had lived here at least 12,000 years before the wayward Christopher Columbus stumbled on North America. For centuries, Indigenous tribes have recognized people who were blessed with both male and female spirits. They honored them, each tribe with words from their own language. The term Two Spirits was coined at the 1990 Intertribal Native American Conference in Winnipeg, Manitoba, to bridge the language differences of our 574 federally recognized tribes. It is therefore altogether fitting that our service today is entitled Reclaiming Two Spirits, focusing on LGBTQ plus people within the Native American population. And now a few announcements. Join us this Wednesday for our special Halloween potluck at 5:30. We'll have food, fun, and fellowship for all ages. Wear a costume and bring a spooky dish. I don't know what that is. If you're new or curious about UU identity, join us for our second Starting Point session after the service today. We'll be taking a walking tour of the building and discussing UU history. All are welcome. We will show a 3-minute video after the end of the service as an individual speaks from the heart about what it feels like to be a two-spirited individual. Please refer to the insert in your order of service for other upcoming events. Now, let us worship together with our centering music.
wherever you are and wherever you are in life's journey, you are welcome here with us this morning. Is my microphone on? Okay. Where was I? Right. I'm Reverend Alex. I'm the senior minister here at UUCGT. I use he and him pronouns. In this service that we hold in the wake of Indigenous Peoples Day, I invite you to hear these words from Robin Wall Kimmerer titled Cultures of Reciprocity. She writes, "Cultures of gratitude must also be cultures of reciprocity. Each person, human or not, is bound to every other in a reciprocal relationship. Just as all beings have a duty to me, I also have a duty to them. If an animal gives its life to feed me, I am in turn bound to support its life. If I receive a stream's gift of pure water, then I am responsible for returning a gift in kind. An integral part of a human's education is to know these duties and how to perform them."
As we light the chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, please join me in reading our covenant words printed on the back of your order of service. I'm accountable for me, you're accountable for you. In community, we hold each other through joy and conflict. We openly welcome all as we respond to the needs of the world. And now, let us sound the singing bowl, entering a time of stillness.
And now if you'd please rise for our opening hymn, Rise in Body or in Spirit. We'll be singing our hymn for this month, Be Still and Breathe.
Be still and breathe. everybody this morning? If all the kiddos want to come up. Hi, there you are. Good morning. I missed you all. It's been a couple weeks. How's everybody doing? Good. It's good to see you. All right, so this morning, we're talking about two-spirit people. Does anybody know that term? Has anybody heard about two-spirit people before? No? Sorta. Some of us, yeah, some of us might have. Some of us might not have, and that's okay. But our service this morning, we're honoring Indigenous Peoples Day, like you might have heard already, and we're honoring two-spirit people. So two-spirit people are from Indigenous cultures, and they honor both masculine and feminine spirits inside of themselves. So we're going to talk a little bit about kind of that idea. So when a baby is born, when you were all born, the doctor looked at your bodies, and your parents might have looked at your bodies, and they might have said, this person has this kind of a body, they are a boy. Or they have this kind of a body, they are a girl. But sometimes that doesn't match, right? Sometimes some people don't think or don't identify as a boy or a girl, right? And some people are, they might say non-binary, right? They might say gender fluid. There's all these different words. Two-spirit is another word that kind of fits in that, but it's specifically for Indigenous or Native American people. So, yes, Ada, I see your hand.
Sometimes they can look at you by looking at the fluids inside your body.
Yeah, sometimes they can look at different things inside your body, sometimes outside your body. There's all kinds of different things, right? But we know that just by looking at somebody's body is not how we can tell their gender, right? So we can ask them their pronouns, and it might not even be how they dress, right? How they dress might be different from how they identify. There's all kinds of different ways that people can express themselves. But the best way to know is just to ask. But I want to talk about, how the world kind of sees this. So sometimes people think that they can put us in boxes. They think that there's a box called girls and a box called boys, and that certain things go in those boxes. And we know that that's not right. That's silly. Girls can like Legos. Okay, so let's see what's in these boxes. Hang on. All right, so I have, what are these? A lizard and a bug, a beetle. These came out of the boys' box. Are girls allowed to like bugs?
Yeah.
Of course they're allowed to like bugs. Are they allowed to like creepy crawly things? Yeah. I think creepy crawly things are super cool. All right, so I think these should go in the everything box, or everyone box. I think anybody can like creepy crawly things, and some people don't like creepy crawly things, no matter their gender. What is this? Which box did this come out of? The boys' box. Everybody can play with Legos. Silly people. I know, I have so many Legos at my house.
And many more bins full of pieces that aren't.
What about these? I see pink and purple and sparkles and soft things. Where did these come from? The girls' box. Can people who are not girls like pink and purple and sparkly and soft things? Yeah. Anybody can like pink and purple and sparkly and soft things. All right, what about on this side?
Baseball.
A baseball, which actually belongs to Elliot. I need to make sure to give this back to you later. I found it on my desk and said, wait, this isn't mine. It's yours. All right, well, baseball, sports. This came out of the boys' box. Can anybody play sports?
Yeah.
Anybody can play sports.
It's all I'm terrible at most organized.
You think everything's going to go in the everyone box? I don't know. All right, so in the girls' side, I have a unicorn. Anybody can like unicorns. Your principal dressed up as a unicorn, and he was a boy. That's amazing. A dinosaur. What about dinosaurs? Can anybody like dinosaurs? I think anybody can. See, Ellie has a dinosaur. What about bracelets and jewelry? Yeah. Everybody can wear bracelets and jewelry. And then this was just to represent cooking or baking, right? Everybody can do cooking and baking. Why do grown-ups think that these have to go in two different boxes? Some grown-ups are very silly. You all clearly know that these can all go in whatever box they want to go in. Surprise penguin. Penguins can go in any box. All right, you silly gooses. So I have another question. Can we halt the wrestling? Thank you so much. So what do we do with this? So we know that people can be anything, they can do anything. Boys can play with things, girls can play with things. We can wear whatever clothes we need to wear. We can identify how we need to identify. What do we do with that information? So we are what's called a welcoming congregation. I see your hand. What's up?
One time my dad wore a dress because we ordered me
See?
a white dress with cats on it, and it came in such a big size that when I got mine, we both wore it.
That's incredible. I hope everyone heard that story. Ada's dad got a dress that or Ada ordered a dress that was too big, and then her and her dad wore matching dresses. I love that. That's so cool. So right, anybody can wear dresses, anybody can wear pants, anybody can wear whatever kind of clothes they feel like they feel best in their body, right? So what can we do with that? We are called a welcoming congregation. So how do we welcome people? How do we let people know that this is a safe place for them to express their gender in whatever way feels comfortable for them? How do we welcome people? What do you think? Oh, you didn't raise your hand? I thought you raised your hand. Well, this was a good example, right? We say, if there are kids, we say, whatever toys you want to play with, you can play with. That's a good example. I see your hand. What's another way we can welcome people?
Yesterday, I went apple picking.
You went apple picking. That's so fun. I love applesauce. Maybe we could welcome everyone by offering them homemade applesauce. I think that's a great idea. So there's something that Reverend Alex does and that I just realized I didn't do, but when he introduces himself, he says, I use he, him pronouns. And usually I say, I use the she, they pronouns, right? So by telling somebody your pronouns, that's a good way to say, hi, I'm Chelsea, I use she, they pronouns. And then you can ask, what are your pronouns or what's your name? And that's a good way to say that everybody is welcome here. What about the way that we talk to people? So when I talk to you, do I usually say boys and girls? No, I don't usually say boys and girls. I use people's names. Or if I'm addressing the whole group of you, I might say friends or kiddos, or in OWL we used to say party people. We used to call them party people. That was very silly. But instead of ladies and gentlemen or boys and girls, we can use more gender neutral words, right? We can say kiddos, we can say friends, we can say beloveds. What about, what about the things that we see around the church? We see a lot of rainbow flags. We see transgender flags. We see signs that say everyone is welcome here. And then I think another example is our bathrooms. So we have gender neutral bathrooms that people can use if they don't feel comfortable using a certain bathroom. And we also say use whatever bathroom feels comfortable for you, right? So we have spaces that we provide welcome for people. And then I think the other thing is just by being a welcoming person. So we have a whole congregation of people that are ready to welcome anybody who walks through our doors. And I think that that's pretty cool. What do you think? Good deal. All right. Are we sleepy this morning? I feel like we might be a little sleepy this morning. I think it's the weather.
I was up till like 11 at night.
Oh my goodness. I saw you out on the town last night. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Did anybody else go to Witches Night Out last night? We were out doing Witches Night Out last night. All right. Should we sing our song, my friends? Let's do it. Penguin. Yes, we're ready. We are children of the stars, we are children of the earth, we are sinners and weavers in this web of life, and the joy that we weave reaches out beyond the stars, and deep within the center of our being. We are children of tomorrow, we are children of our dreams, we are planners and builders in this web of life, and the future that we weave reaches out beyond the stars, and deep within the center of our being. All right, let's go.
Good morning. My name is Chris Lautz, and I am chair of the membership team, and I want to introduce my team. I think that's what I do first. So, Jane Watson, Peter Brower, do you want to come up front? We have Chris and Rick Walter, part of the team. Chris is my co-chair. Peter Brower and Jane Watts. So we constitute the membership team. And if you're interested in joining us, please let us know, because we really would like some more people on our team. Okay, that's enough advertising. So it's my pleasure to invite our newest members to come forward at this time. Please bring your order of service insert with you. So Shelley Keith, Marty and John Mader, Jim and Amy Moore, and Kelly Scott line up right in front of the stage. And then for those online, the link to the order of service that has the covenant words for you to say should be available. And Chris is up.
Pull this little stool out so I can reach the microphone. Good morning. And as I read your name, would you please step forward? Thank you. I'm starting with Shelley Keith. And Shelley writes, I am a total dog person, but just adopted a cat instead. I am looking forward to getting to know everyone and becoming part of this UU community, because cats only pretend to be your friend. And then we have Marty and John Mader. John loves the outdoors by hunting, fishing, and landscaping. Children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren are the most important people in his life. Marty Mader writes, she's John's wife, and she likes to sew, read, write, and mostly cook or bake to feed the many family members and friends that come to visit. Family is our most important and awesome blessing. Jim and Amy Moore. Amy is spiritually inclined, passionate about connecting people and creating space for all voices. She greatly values honesty, authenticity, and openness. Jim loves to express himself through music and art. True north is connecting with nature and playing with his dog, Stuart. And Kelly Scott. I have, in past lives, been a tango dancer and a beekeeper, both of which I would love to do again. I have 10 green fingers and can grow just about anything.
Okay. So a longer bio and their picture will be printed in this next month's Beacon, so you can read more about them, or during coffee hour, you can just ask them. So, as an introduction to this special time of welcoming new members, we share these words adapted and abbreviated from an unknown author. We, the current members of the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Grand Traverse, welcome you into our circle of love and commitment. May you find comfort here, for life often carries with it pain. So may you find joy in the shared gifts of love and life. May you be challenged here, for questioning is a source of love and learning. May you add your voice to ours, finding harmony in the diversity we affirm. May you build on your faith here, a faith that sustains you during life's transitions. May you find your spiritual home here, creating with us a community that welcomes all. And above all, may you help us to create a better world, cultivating human wholeness and authentic interdependence. And now, Rick.
Okay, please turn to the insert in your order of service, and we'll read the covenant together, followed by the congregational response. This is a welcoming of the new members reading by Manish Mishra Marzetti. Okay, new members recite in unison. We enter this faith with hope and possibility in our hearts, pledging to participate in and support the ministries of this congregation. We covenant to remember true to the spirit of love that flows through this church and I'm off. We covenant to remember true to the spirit of love that flows through this church and guides us. We seek your welcome as we join you in this faith. And the congregation then responds, we welcome you as once we were welcomed ourselves. We seek to be open and inclusive, respecting your inherent dignity, your ideas, and your vision, in times when it is easy and in times when it's difficult. We seek to be supportive, not only when you reach out in courage to us, but also when you need us to reach out to you. In return, we ask that you recognize our humanity. We will not always live up to our ideals and then fall short. We invite you to stay in relationship with us and help us more fully imbibe the spirit of love. We welcome you as an equal member in this congregation and our shared spiritual journey. We warmly welcome each of you in this community of caring and of social justice action, of learning and wisdom, and so much more. Thank you for being here and joining us.
So Chris, Rick, and Jane. Chris handing out the gifts bags, which are locally sourced from Michigan vendors. I'll use that word. And she puts them together. And Rick has the new member folders with all kinds of information. And Jane has their certificate. So we welcome to each of you, and here is a small welcome gift. If you want to sit down, you can.
So we'll now be singing a special song in response. You may head back to your seats, but we have an affirmation that we'll all sing together.
So before we sing, though, we invite everyone to join in the fellowship hall for celebratory refreshments, and the new members, please stop by the welcome table because we have some paperwork for you to fill out and signing the member book that makes you official. Okay, now you can sing.
It does, doesn't it?
We are without our music director, so bear with us as we kind of figure it out. All right, this is a call and response in honor of the new members. I will sing the first line, and you and the vocal ensemble will sing the second, and we'll do that again and again. And the last verse will hold a little longer. I'll direct you a little bit as I'm able. And I want to make sure we keep this simple. All right. Am I on? Okay. Middle C. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made a place for you
where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Where everything is new. Everything is new.
Sustaining a congregation such as this, not just today, but for the weeks, years, and generations to come, is a privilege. As a self-governing and self-sustaining community, we receive no outside funding. We rely on the generosity and commitment of those who find meaning here. Our ushers will pass baskets with two sides. One side supports the life and mission of this congregation. The other supports needs in the community, including local food programs, shelters, and services for those most vulnerable. The Board of Trustees has earmarked a portion of our community giving to support social justice in our region. Our offerings support our shared UU values in action. You can also give as shown on the slide. However you give, please let us know through the memo line on your check or a comment field on the app you use whether your gift is designated toward your pledge, for community needs, or for a special collection. This helps us honor your intentions and ensures that your gift is used exactly as you intend. If this is your first time with us, please be our guest as the baskets pass. Every gift, large or small, is received with deep gratitude. We now gratefully receive this morning's offering.
morning, friends. We've now come to the time in our service where we can share our joys and concerns. I'm Connie Metcalf, and I'm a member of the Congregational Care Team here at UU. Do we have other team members here this morning? There's Carl, there's Ann, and they have a little purple tag, and Jane Watts on the bottom of their name tag to identify them, and come talk to us after coffee hour if you have anything that needs to be communicated. It is our practice as a religious community to set aside time in our service to name and honor the joys and concerns that mark our lives, the milestones, and the moments of our lived experience. I will be sharing the joys and concerns that have been offered up to us to hold on our hearts today. If you have a joy or concern that's a bit too heavy to share, I invite you to reach out to Rev Alex or to the Congregational Care Team. If your joy or concern is still raw and tender, we invite you to hold it on your heart as you are held in this loving community. None of us is meant to travel this life's journey alone. And so now, dear ones, here's what has been shared with this gathered community this morning. Joyful for the successful and large demonstration to say loud and clear, "No kings here." This from Susan Smith. Another share, it was a joy to run into my son and grandson at the No Kings rally yesterday. As my dad used to say, he's raising him right. I have a personal joy to share. Both of my adult daughters may be moving back to TC, and they've been living far away, Salt Lake City, Reno, Guam. So super, super happy about that. And the last one from Beth Strawbridge, I ask all to extend healing light to my brother David, who will undergo open heart surgery on Wednesday. And now let's hold a moment of stillness for the concerns and joys that remain in the silence and on our hearts.
Friends, this is our time for our stone meditation. If you feel so moved, you're welcome to come forward and take a stone and place it in our bowl of water here. Join me in a spirit of prayer. Spirit of life, source of all wisdom, we pause now to witness the ripples left by our joys and concerns. as we strive to reclaim the wisdom and wholeness offered by two-spirit people, we pray for the resilience to hold both joy and pain in balance. May we honor the many truths within ourselves and within this wider world. Give us the courage to walk in beauty, to cherish resilience, and to affirm the sacredness of every human spirit. May it be so, and amen.
All the stirrings of compassion blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
I keep dropping things off from here. What does two-spirit mean from Geo-Neptune? Our reading today is a short video from Geo-Neptune, a two-spirit storyteller, master basket weaver, and elder from the Passamaquoddy tribe in coastal Maine. In this video, Geo talks about the history of two-spirit identity and how it fits in the wider LGBTQ plus movement. And now the video.
All right, let me just read it really quick. Two-spirit one more time. Though the label has only been used since the 90s, the concept of the two-spirit is something Indigenous groups have identified with for centuries. But what does two-spirit actually mean, and where does it come from? So what is two-spirit? It's an umbrella term that bridges Indigenous and Western understandings of gender and sexuality. You may recognize it as the two that sometimes appears on the end of LGBTQ2. There are many definitions and understandings of two-spirit, and each is nation-specific. The term was intentionally introduced by Native people with the goal of finding common ground and helping educate about traditional teachings in a contemporary context. The Two-Spirit Society of Denver offers the following definition. Two-Spirit refers to another gender role believed to be common among most, if not all, First Peoples of Turtle Island, North America, one that had a proper and accepted place within Native societies. This acceptance was rooted in the spiritual teachings that say all life is sacred. So how did the term Two-Spirit first come about? In 1990, in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, at the 3rd annual Native American Gay and Lesbian Gathering, the term Two-Spirit was proposed and affirmed by consensus. The word was a potential solution to what Native scholars and activists called the problem of naming, or making the many different sexual and gender identities that fall under the Two-Spirit umbrella legible across Native and non-Native cultures alike. For example, to illustrate the diversity of meanings that Two-Spirit contains, consider the following. In Lakota, the word winkte means to be as a woman and refers to two-souled Lakota people who transgress boundaries of gender from what may be considered male to female. In Dene, nadlehe means those who transform and refers to one of 4 separate genders: masculine-feminine, masculine-masculine, feminine-masculine, and feminine-feminine. Each gender has its own word in the Dene language. And those are just two nation-specific examples. There are so many more. Each nation's understanding of gender and sexual diversity is different and grounded in specific spiritual beliefs. Although all nations don't have a concept of two-spirit people, across those indigenous nations that do, two-spirit people were historically held in high regard and often considered sacred or divine, holding important positions like matchmakers, medicine people, or warriors on the front lines of battle. Many two-spirit people perform roles traditionally assigned to both men and women. Witwa, a famous two-spirit of the Zuni or Ihumana, was known to take part in masculine tribal matters and feminine tribal matters, and was even sent as an official Zuni delegate to Washington, D.C. Part of the reason Two-Spirit was adopted at the 1990 conference was because much of the written record on the indigenous nations of North America begins with European contact. For instance, the writings of Jesuit priests from the 1600s contain references to berdaches, which means kept boy in French, to refer to those who embodied both male and female genders. These writings often focus negatively on perceived cross-dressing among the Anishinaabe. The term is not only inaccurate in that it projects a European understanding of gender, but is widely considered pejorative by natives.
So I want to start today just to get a little bit of a gauge from the room. How many of you have ever heard of Two-Spirit before today's service? That's really actually quite good. I'm really proud of that. I was expecting this to be fairly new, but you might already know some of this. It's interesting because that's where we get the two, right, in the LGBTQ plus acronym when there's the two at the end, as the video pointed out. And I really wanted to show this video for the reading out of a really important thing so that you'd hear from a two-spirit person themselves what this identity means to them, rather than hearing it from me. While it's an identity only for Indigenous folks, people outside of this culture and heritage still can find meaning from this identity and what it has to teach us about gender and sexuality. The Two-Spirit label gets its modern usage from the 90s, yet it's existed in concept for centuries of Indigenous history. And you'll see with some photos here on the screen, some Two-Spirit peoples with a vintage picture of a couple. There we go. A vintage photo of a Two-Spirit couple, as well as a photo of Wewa that we heard from in the video, who is Zuni from 1886. As an umbrella term that spans the distance between Indigenous and Western ideas of sexuality and gender, Two-Spirit is a gender role found in nearly every society of those first peoples of Turtle Island. Western notions of gender and sexuality actually have their limits with how they describe these vast spectrums of human identity. And these identities that are typically included in the wider LGBTQ plus community, whether that's lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and queer, those don't often translate well to the ways that Indigenous societies thought about gender roles and sexual orientation. A person being Two-Spirit isn't synonymous with being gay or trans. Instead, it's an identity that allows for a much broader range of identity and expression. Someone who is Two-Spirit might be attracted to someone of the same or the opposite gender or sex, and likewise, they might also identify somewhere within the gender binary, being parts male or female or not at all. It's astounding that this identity of being Two-Spirit is found across so many of the Indigenous nations, with each nation itself holding a spiritual role or understanding of this identity. And it's important to note that there's no single Indigenous perspective on gender and sexuality. Each nation carries its own teachings and traditions. For the Anishinaabe, the Indigenous peoples in our own area, the term Two-Spirit actually arose from their language, Anishinaabe-Moan. The term Nishmani-Doag in Anishinaabe-Moan translates to two spirits. And in preparing for this service, I looked at a really helpful book published a few years ago, the namesake for this service, titled Reclaiming Two Spirits: Sexuality, Spiritual Renewal, and Sovereignty in Native America. And this is by Gregory Smithers. So if you're intrigued by this, I really invite you to check out this book. There's a lot of really wonderful history in there. And in this book, the author talks about the traditional beliefs of the Ojibwe and people who are Two-Spirit. In traditional Ojibwe communities, gender fluidity, being between masculine and feminine gender roles, was an accepted part of their culture. Indigenous people who didn't conform to binary or heterosexual norms held an expansive identity. While gender roles definitely existed in Ojibwe communities, with men hunting and trapping game, while women cooking and managing crops, there were some in society regarded as people with powerful spiritual qualities, the two spirits. Terms like ikwakazo and inikwazo came to describe the ones who endeavor to be like a woman or man, pointing out the ways that they broke with these gender norms. These spiritual people, the two-spirit, played leading roles in rituals and ceremonies. They held high regard as spiritual elders in their community. And two-spirit people actually helped to maintain balance in families and in wider society, contributing to resilient connections for Indigenous communities. And this resilience was an important and essential strength, especially in the wake of the arrival of Europeans to Turtle Island, North America. There is a deep and fraught history of how this way of being two spirits, was later suppressed by European colonization. After their arrival, Europeans brought their strong religious views of gender and sexuality, and two-spirit identities were dehumanized and condemned by the Spanish conquistadors and missionaries, seeing them as a threat to their conversion efforts. Priests and religious figures regarded gender and sexuality and sexual diversity as vice rather than blessing. And later on, with the development of Christian-run boarding schools, the machinations of cultural genocide worked to erase and eliminate two-spirit folks altogether. Children were taken from their families by force so that they might be civilized and converted to Christianity, so that their souls would be saved from their indigenous practices. Two-spirit children especially faced severe trauma in this time, being forced to wear clothing according to Western norms of gender, with the forced cutting of their hair, not to mention the widespread physical and sexual abuse that came from these boarding schools. Now, our Unitarian forebears were also complicit in this cultural genocide with the Unitarian-run Montana Industrial School for Indians, also known as Mon's Mission. This is heavy history that is on our own hands as well, and it's ours to own too. These machinations caused two-spirit people to go underground. In some cases, they were killed for refusing to convert or conform, and they even took their own lives. Today, two-spirit people are recovering and reclaiming what has been lost, despite this architecture of genocide, erasure, and assimilation. Two-spirit people are still here. Indigenous people are still here. Their cultures, understandings, identities, and spiritualities are a part of this tapestry of diversity and expression that the colonial powers couldn't obliterate, even with so much that has already been lost. Two-spirit folks help us to see a fuller expression of a more diverse spectrum of human identity, beyond what Western culture can even comprehend. So why does this matter today? We need look no further than the present administration to see parallels to this history that is in danger of repeating itself. Cuts to DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion in our institutions and in society at large, unfolding threats to the protections for LGBTQ+ people as the Supreme Court hears a case on conversion therapy and whether it is legal for us to ban it. Signals about even maybe overturning same-sex marriage itself. The intentional recentering of Columbus Day over Indigenous Peoples Day, Columbus as a figure who represents European colonization, genocide, enslavement, and dispossession. A continued whitewashing and erasure of these histories and traumas, and a rubbing of salt on the wound. This is such an important time for us to tell this history, to tell these stories, even the hard parts. In this time when there's a movement to revise, sanitize, and omit parts of this history, we must insist on telling the full story. In this time in our history, This is a time for a radical coming together, to lean fully into resistance and persistence, even in ways that might not seem like much at first. Yesterday, I was heartened to see so many of you at the No Kings protest at the Civic Center, even in the rain. That's never deterred us Michiganders for anything. 8,000 of us in the sea of lots of those Golden Mission t-shirts. It was really quite neat to see. How powerful and even healing it was for us to just be together, to see a ton of those really clever signs out there, and to affirm together that we love this country and despair of what it's becoming. Yes, this is a time for resistance, but also persistence. We are in a country and a climate where there's an intentional quelling and suppression of individuality and difference. We're losing the shared common fabric of who we've been, in both the proud moments and the heartbreaks of our shared journey and story as a country, as a people. A fabric that sees diversity as our greatest strength, that we ought to bring about radical welcome and inclusion over conformity, assimilation, and sameness. Resistance looks a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's as simple as owning your truth and being who you are, even when there are many who are against you. For those of us who are not Two-Spirit, it's important for us to keep learning, to know the hard parts of this history. It's essential that we center the perspectives of Indigenous peoples and make space for their voices, to actually know the names of the peoples on whose lands you live and gather. Two-Spirit identities and queerness have so much to teach us, so many lessons on what it is to live outside of the lines, to not simply accept or conform to what is not at the expense of sacrificing what is. What's important is that we each find ways to resist and to persist in the best nonviolent ways we can. Now, I'm going to take a risk here and say something that might not be appropriate coming from the pulpit. These are times that demand taking risks and even getting into a little good trouble, a little mischief even. It's a part of our mission statement. I challenge you to find the best ways you can in your nonviolence to give the middle finger to these forces that seek to divide and erase us. And that involves wear those inflatable frog costumes. Stare down fascism in the face and meet it with mischief. Good mischief. And let's not forget about a little bit of whimsy, too. Two-Spirit folks offer us deep spiritual teachings in this area. How it's okay to not conform, to not fit in, to even claim a whole other entire way of being itself. Find your ways of bringing good trouble and mischief to these powers and systems that are trying their best to get us to hate each other. These times call for us to reclaim our radical tradition of loving and being, even now when the gulf between us feels at its largest. Persist in your mischievous love, good people. Persist and resist. To close, may we all commit to learning about Two-Spirit people and their stories. And today, following the service, we'll show a very quick 3.5-minute video of another Two-Spirit person's, an Anishinaabe person's, reflections on what it means for them to be Two-Spirit as well. So please don't go far. But I invite you to keep learning and sharing what you learn in those wider circles. And then go out and make some good trouble, some holy mischief. We are in times that call for thinking outside the box, for going beyond the binary. So let's love the hell out of this world. Amen. Let's join for a moment of stillness together. And now, if you would please rise in body or in spirit as we join in singing our closing hymn together, How Could Anyone? standing, and if you're comfortable, joining hands with your neighbor or outstretching your hand in the gesture of please do not touch me, we welcome you here too. And Susan will read some words for us to release our flame.
These words are excerpted from a piece by Reverend Scott Taylor entitled The Tenderness That Makes Us Fierce. May love always be at your center. May compassion lead us closer to the broken and brokenhearted. May that proximity prove once again that we all suffer as equals. And may those shared struggles give us the courage to act, not just feel. To confront the cruelty, not to be numb by it. To protest, not just offer prayers. May the tenderness of our hearts make us fierce about fixing the world.
And in the spirit of covenant, community, and commitment, may we be made ready to serve one another and create the world we so desperately dream of. Go in peace, pass a little squeeze. And join us very shortly after, before we go into too much time for our video.
Thank you.